Okay, so Dr. Terry, here's the next vehicle for your radio Jeep. Restored chassis, which we're about to take for a drive. I like to always test drive them first because you can check out the oil leaks and the brake line leaks and the transmission. So just make sure it's in neutral. Give it a little gas, a bit of ignition. There we have a Continental.
Sounds good as usual.
As usual. We are cheating a little bit. It is on 12 volt, but it will go back to 6 volt just because I have a lot more 12 volt batteries. So yeah, so everything actually works on this vehicle, and I can drive it. Would you like me to just drive it around the property here?
Sure.
A little further back than what it is on BRC. You drive right around the whole property.
Okay. Yeah.
Being restored at the moment. The hood is sitting on top of this ring-in Willys. As you can see, the Willys is much a bigger vehicle. That one there is just waiting to have some floors put in. There's a young man coming to work on it with me for work experience, so that should be interesting for him. The grille is done, and the windshield is done, and the hood's done, the seats are done, so we're just doing the body. We try to keep all the original cowls, the tops of the toolboxes. They have original grills, original front fenders. Most of them have the original windshields, and most of them have original chassis that have been repaired. But of course there's nothing else really available, so everything else is handmade in this shop. So this Jeep here will become a radio Jeep.
This is going to be the radio Jeep. This is the radio that's going to go in it. These are the sections that go in it. So this is a World War II vintage radio. I acquired this from one of my patients. I think, as most of you know, I'm a dermatologist. So one of my patients came in, and this radio was brought by his father from World War II. And it was in their attic for forever, since World War II, and the gentleman that owned it is now in a nursing home, and his son, my patient, said, I know exactly where this radio will find a good home. So he gave this to me, and so we like to make all our Jeeps a little different, so I thought this was a perfect thing to do. So we're going to make this part of the Jeep we just showed you here, and it'll also the man that owned this is still living, so he will be anxious to see this when it gets back to my home.
This is the Miller Jeep. This is the oldest known surviving Bantam Jeep from World War II, in the same family until Dr. Terry bought it last year. Still running and driving with the original bodywork, original drivetrain, and we're going to see if we can get it started, because I've just had the instruments rebuilt for it and we had to disconnect all the wiring, so we're going to hot wire it and hopefully I can get it started. I'll get a little gasoline. Make any noise, but sure is slow. What we're going to do with this Jeep is just a mechanical restoration only, which is the chassis, the brakes, the differentials, gearbox transfer, and the motor. The body will stay the same even with the incorrect seats, but it's going to have a new wire and harness. It never came with a windshield, and this is the only one that we have as new old stock that Terry acquired a few years ago. So we put that on, and we're going to put the correct wheels and tires on it. Other than that, the body will stay exactly as it is, so as it will always be associated as the Miller Jeep and the oldest surviving Bantam with all its original pieces. As you can see, when you do a restoration, once you restore it, you can lose the identity, and Dr. Terry has decided to keep this one like this.
Yeah, the other thing about the Miller Jeep is when we got it, we've become pretty good friends with the Miller family, mainly the son and daughter. And they've been very interested in making sure that the Jeep went to a good home and that it's well taken care of. So we've been keeping them in touch with the progress of what we've been doing, and emailing back and forth and talking on the phone. And they're going to plan on coming to the BRC 75 meet at League City in 2015. So this is the one of the other Jeeps we're working on. Duncan's working on, and this one is going to be modeled after a historic picture of a German captured BRC, and so you can see Duncan's getting things together on this, but Duncan and Kim have a lot of imagination, so these Jeeps have a lot of extra little things with them, and it just helps to tell the story, the complete story of the Bantam Jeep, having these different variations and reproducing these historic pictures.
The way I'm portraying this is I have a lot of original World War II German pieces, like helmets and ammunition boxes for the MG42. And we got grenade boxes here and water containers, and it's going to have gasoline in the back. It's actually portrayed as like a captured British with a couple of extra spares and mines and things that they would have carried around. We have some historic photographs with them fully loaded up with all different bits and pieces of captured vehicles, right down to using Willys combat rims. So I've even found a original Willys combat rim for it to put on to sort of match the photo. And then there's a little bit of poetic license with a couple of little things on it, but it's to give people the visual effect, really. And talking of visual effect,
Here's another little trinket that's going to go on the Jeep. This is a German World War II machine gun.
MG42.
MG42, and we'll find an appropriate place to mount this on the Jeep too.
Obviously, these are some of the stencils. There's at least 70 stencils on this vehicle, and it's been portrayed as being captured by the Afrika Korps. Everything else is the correct German font from 1941, and it just adds to the look of the vehicle to have the correct stencils on the vehicle. This Bantam is the first Bantam that I acquired, and this is the Bantam that had everything cast off, all the original pieces, including the bell housing, timing cover, steering boxes, brake pedals, clutch pedals, you name it, everything has been cast off this vehicle. And this is a very early March, as it has a different grille to all the other Jeeps. This is a corrugated floor. First 300 were corrugated floor, and this Jeep will be done as a Mickey Mouse Jeep next year. It'll be the first in and the last Jeep to come out. This Jeep here is the portrait of the Canadian Bantam, which is half pilot, half a BRC 60. And this will be finished later this year. It's getting very expensive now to do these vehicles, as it's nearly $10,000 to build an engine with all the correct parts in it. But this vehicle will be ready next year, right down to the Ontario number plate. And this was taken in Canada in 1941, early 41, with the Ontario number plate, and I have had it reproduced to fit on the front. So this will be at the 75th. These two Jeeps will be at the 75th. As a matter of fact, I'm working 7 days a week to have all of them finished for the 75th.